Good morning. In this trek through Acts, the Acts of the Apostles, the Acts of the Holy Spirit, the Acts of the early church, we come to chapter 16. And we're going to go through just verses 1 through 13 today. So let's start here. I'm reading from the New King James. What's in this post is the New American Standard Bible. So this is where Timothy joins Paul and Silas. So verse 1, then he came to Derbe. This is Paul. Paul's on his second missionary journey now. Then he came to Derbe and Lystra, and behold, a certain disciple was there named Timothy. So Timothy is described as a disciple. It says, the son of a certain Jewish woman who believed, but his father was a Greek. So Timothy's mother was Jewish and a believer. His father was a Greek. And we know from one of the epistles to Timothy later on that his mother and his grandmother were just very influential in his spiritual life. Verse 2, he was well spoken of by the brethren who were at Lystra and Iconium. So the brethren in Lystra and Iconium talked well of Timothy. We do know that Timothy is a young man as well. Verse 3, Paul wanted to have him on with him. Paul wanted to have him go on with him. That's what it actually says. And he took him and he circumcised him because of the Jews who were in that region. For all they knew that his father was a Greek. So even though we just settled the previous chapter, you don't have to be circumcised to be saved. Paul did so to Timothy so that the Jewish people, because Timothy was a Greek, so that it would not be a stumbling block to the Jewish people. It was not necessary for Timothy's salvation, but it would help him ministering to Jewish people. Now verse 4. And as they went through the cities, they delivered to them the decrees to keep, which were determined by the apostles and elders at Jerusalem. So they're delivering to this in the cities the decrees from the Jerusalem Council in Acts 15. Verse 9. So the churches were strengthened in the faith and increased in number daily. So the churches continue to grow and they're strengthened in the faith. Now verse 6. Now when they had gone through Phrygia and the region of Galatia, they were forbidden, get this, forbidden by the Holy Spirit to preach the word in Asia. So Asia back then would be like modern-day Turkey. This isn't what we would think of Asia, but the Holy Spirit forbid them to go into that region at that point. So verse 7. After they come to Mysia, they tried to go into Bithynia, but the Spirit did not permit them. So the Holy Spirit also prevented them from going into another place. Verse 8. So passing by Mysia, they came down to Troas. And get this, verse 9. And a vision appeared to Paul in the night. A man of Macedonia stood and pleaded with him, saying, come over to Macedonia and help us. So Jesus gave Paul a vision during the night. Verse 10. Now after he had seen the vision, immediately we sought to go to Macedonia, concluding that the Lord had called us to preach the gospel to them. So the Lord is calling them to Macedonia. Verse 11. Therefore, sailing from Troas, we ran a straight course to Samothrace, and the next day came to Neapolis, and from there to Philippi, which is a foremost city of the part of Macedonia, a colony. And we were staying in that city for some days. On the Sabbath day, we went out of the city to the riverside where prayer was customarily made. And we sat down and spoke to the women whom we met there. Now a certain woman named Lydia heard us. She was a seller of purple from the city of Thyatira who worshipped God. The Lord opened her heart to heed the things spoken by Paul. And when she and her household were baptized, she begged us, saying, if you have judged me to be faithful to the Lord, come to my house and stay. So she persuaded us. Now I only put verses 1 through 13 in the post, but we actually went through verse 15 right there. We'll pick up there on Monday or Tuesday. I have yearly meeting for the denomination this weekend. That goes through Monday, so I don't know really if I'm going to be able to do this on Monday. Have a great day in the Lord. I hope that God blesses you with this.